Is that going? Clerk will call the roll.
Glenn Whitley, County Judge.
Here.
Roy Charles Brooks, Commissioner Precinct 1.
Present.
Andy H. Wynn, Commissioner Precinct 2.
Here.
Gary Vickers, Commissioner Precinct 3.
Here.
J.D. Johnson, Commissioner Precinct 4. Constitutes a quorum.
On his way.
Our invocation this morning will be delivered by Reverend Gina Stewart from Lake Country Church. Are we on, Jay? Great. After the invocation, please remain standing for the pledges.
Our great God, our Father, how wonderful you are. You are so marvelous. You have created this wonderful city. I love Fort Worth. I love the people who also love Fort Worth. Bless the people in this room. Bless their hands and their feet, that they will do and they will go where you direct them to go. Help them judge rightly between right and wrong. And Father, above all, to give you praise, honor, and glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
We thought about saying an extra prayer for BNSF Railroad and their train that was stuck on Main Street because we were afraid you were going to blow it up.
It was a mess.
If it didn't get along pretty quick. Jay, would you agenda announcements?
Yes, sir. First of all, we have some revisions to the agenda. First one is under the Budget and Risk Management Office. We have a revised appropriation adjustments, item C1. Under purchasing, the appropriation adjustments were on consent, on the consent agenda. Item I4, under purchasing, we need to pull that item for a couple weeks. Item I6 under purchasing also needs to be pulled off the agenda. And also, item I14 under purchasing needs to be pulled. It's also under the consent agenda. Item 8L1 under transportation services. Item 1, which is also on consent, needs to be pulled also. Also, in your red folder, you will see some additional information from Mr. Mendez about the legislative issues under the briefing. He will be back on June 6th to brief you in full about the legislative session.
Well,
also,
they're through on the 29th. I mean, why he's not going to?
He'll be here for a full briefing of the legislature. You can punch him all you want that day. Also, on June 6th will be your next court meeting because next week you do not have a scheduled court meeting. It's been canceled. And also at 1:30 today, the Citizens Blue Ribbon Committee will be meeting in 504C. Thank you.
Thank you. Court members, you have before you the minutes of our regular meeting of May the 16th.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Commissioner Johnson and Commissioner Vickers. Did you have something?
Oh, I'll follow you.
I'll vote for you.
Thank you.
Motion passes unanimously. Commissioner Brooks, I believe you have a recognition and a proclamation.
I believe I do. Thank you for recognizing me this morning for this purpose. The TCU Horned Frogs.
You got your?
Yeah.
I forgot my perfect time this morning. Golly.
Let me say that one more time. The TCU Horned Frogs.
Hey!
have acquitted themselves very well when it comes to basketball, having won the NIT tournament this year, which is a stellar achievement. It is a tournament that is even older than the NCAA tournament. And in the eyes of many of us, it is more prestigious.
Certainly is now.
It certainly is now. And their having won that tournament kind of gives Precinct 1 a lock on basketball in Tarrant County, because your sister university, Texas Wesleyan, won the NAIA National Championship, also a Precinct 1 basketball powerhouse. We are here this morning to recognize the great achievement of the TCU Horned Frogs, and we have a resolution. Judge, if you would please read that into the record, we would all be grateful.
I was reading through that, and then I see there's a name there that'll probably mess me up, and that's
Do the best you can.
I'll do the best I can. Whereas the TCU Horned Frogs capped a season filled with milestones to win the 2017 National Invitation Tournament Championship, and whereas under first-year coach Jamie Dixon, a former TCU player who took the job in March 2016, the Frogs secured their first 20-win season in 12 years and their first victory over the nation's top-ranked team, and 85-82 triumph over then number one Kansas at the Phillips 66 Big 12 Championship on March 9th. And whereas also during the season, the Frogs won 6 Big 12 conference games, the most in school history, won a total of 24 games, which tied for second the most wins in the season in school history, and drew a total of 128,658 fans to Schollmeyer Arena, the most fans to watch season home games in the program's history. And whereas players Valimir Rodzinski, Jalen Fisher, Alex Robinson, and Kendrick Williams all earned postseason honors from the Big 12 Conference. And whereas in the final game, TCU delivered a dominant 88-56 victory over Georgia Tech and earned the basketball program's first ever postseason championship. Now therefore be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby commend and congratulate the TCU Horned Frog players and coaches for winning the 2017 NIT Championship. In witness whereof, we have hereunto set our hands and caused the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 23rd day of May, 2017.
Move approval.
Second.
We've got motion and seconds. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Congratulations. Y'all come on down.
This morning we have with us we've got head coach Jamie Dixon. We've got Thomas Montegel, director of basketball operations or whatever. We've got Quat Noy.
You got that right?
And Alex Robinson and Ryan Brown. Would you all meet me at the podium, please? Coach, congratulations. We are all anxious to see what you have up your sleeve for next year. Maybe a national championship?
Well, maybe I need the bar.
Congratulations to you all. Please have some remarks, and then we'll take a picture up there on the dais with the whole court.
All right, thank you. Well, thank you very much for recognizing our program. It was my hopes in coming back to TCU that our city, our school, our students could be proud of their basketball program, and I think we've started in that right way. Judge, you pronounce that name better than I pronounce it better.
And he's not even here.
He's not even here.
He's not even here.
You did better, but you got Kwat Noise that name very well too, so we did well. But on a personal note, I went to school at TCU about 30 years ago, a long time ago, and what has happened to Fort Worth and what it's become, the city it's become. I'm very excited that I was able to move my family here to see the work that you guys have done in the city and the town and everybody involved. It's a beautiful city, and after being away 30 years, you did a lot of good work. So thank you very much for allowing our family, our players, to be recognized, but most importantly to represent Fort Worth and TCU in the future.
Well, I will tell you, the only way it could have been better would have been had UTA been in the finals with y'all, and it had been an all-Tarrant County.
We're going to scrimmage them this fall, so we'll get a chance to play.
Well, let us know when that happens. We would love to.
Yeah,
It's close
Commissioner
scrimmage.
Wynn and
Let's go for
I.
it. We get you.
Yeah.
Y'all come on.
Y'all come on up.
I know who the vertically challenged are going to be in this one, and I'm going to get up here in the front. Come on, Commissioner Wynn. They're not going to see you if you're back there.
Okay. Commissioner Brooks, you need to be up. This is yours.
You can stand back there in the back, and everybody's going to see you. Now, she takes 3 flashes. It has to flash 3 times or we're not through.
Excellent.
Congratulations.
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 I wasn't there in that. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Get that out of your way.
Thank you, Judge.
You bet. The next proclamation we have is one that I will deliver on Monday for the Mount Olivet Memorial Day service, and so I'll move its approval. Second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Commissioner Wynn, I believe you have some recognition this morning.
Yes, Judge, and fellow commissioners, this morning we have the honor to welcome the good folks from Arlington ISD, including many of our young and future leaders of Tarrant County. And leading the pack is the mighty but humble Dr. Marcelo Cavazos. What I like to do is, Judge, if you can help me.
Yeah, and I want to just go on to say that we have introduced him before, and I think at that point in time we introduced you as the Superintendent of the Year for the state of Texas.
That's right.
But if we haven't, I want to recognize you again for that honor and tell you how proud we are of you.
Mighty but humble.
That's right. That's why I refer to him. That's his nickname from now on. But Judge Whitley is going to help passing out the certificate of recognition, and I am going to announce your name. As your name is announced, please file to that side of the bench and walk up, and you accept the certificate from the judge, and then stay, and then we'll take a group picture together. Okay? Y'all know how to follow instruction, right? Good. Okay. From Arlington High School, valedictorian is Megan Wynn. Megan is a Lockheed Martin Scholarship recipient, National Merit Scholar, and UT Austin Scholarship recipient, academic decathlon, president of Math and Engineering Club, Rotary Outstanding Student. She plans to attend UT Austin, and she will major in electrical and computer engineering, and her goal in life is try to help the third world countries. Salutatorian is Laura Britton. High School Highlights, Orchestra, Destination Imagination, Academic Decathlon, National Honor Society, Key Club, Earth Club, Orchestra Student of the Year. She plans to attend BYU, majoring in history education, and she would like to become a librarian to help students improve their reading skill. Top scholar athlete, Ms. Madison Moore. High school highlights include National Merit Commended Scholar, selected as one of only 6 students at Baylor to participate in the Baylor to Baylor pre-law program. She is an All-American cheerleader and has advanced to regionals every year that she has participated in varsity track. She plans to attend Baylor University, majoring in history, and plan to become an attorney because her grandfather told her stories about suing bad behaving healthcare organizations. And with her are her parents, Audra and Tommy Moore. And her twin sister, that's right. Mallory Moore is her twin sister. And then the principal of Arlington High is Mr. Xavier Dalla. Would you please stand, sir? Thank you for From Bowie High School, valedictorian, Mr. Jacob Scanlon. High school highlights include Technology Student Association, National Honor Society, Key Club, Academic Quiz League, National Merit Finalist, 2016 AP Scholar with Distinction, Lockheed Martin High School Intern Scholarship. He plans to attend University of Texas at Dallas, majoring in software engineer, and his purpose in life is to enjoy life.
All right then.
Salutatorian from Bowie High School, Miss Gwen Hun. I know how to say that name really well. National Honor Society, Student Council, Health Occupational Students of America, Dean Scholarship from TCU. She will be attending TCU, majoring in mechanical engineers, and she would like to become an engineer and travel the world. Top scholar athlete, Darien Porter. High school highlights, taken pre-AP, biology, chemistry, algebra 1, algebra 2, AP world history, U.S. history, government, politics, macroeconomics, member of the student council, earned high school credit in junior high for engineering and Spanish. State qualifier for the 4x400 meter relay and 100 meters. He is a state champion in the 4x400 meter relay.
My God.
And he plans to attend the University of North Texas, Judge,
Hey.
majoring in real estate development.
All right then. Very good.
Excellent. The folks from Lamar High School cannot be here with us this morning due to an award program that is in conflict with the schedule. Next, we have Martin High School, valedictorian, Marshall Brand. High school highlights. Okay, I think I failed to introduce the principal of Boone High School, Mr. Principal William Manley, and Assistant Principal Miss Emma Davis. Okay, Marshall Brand, where are you, sir? There you go.
We just took care of it.
President of the Computer Science Club, Apple's WWDC Scholarship recipient, National Merit Scholar, gold member of the USA Computing Olympiad. He plans to attend UT Austin, majoring in computer science. That's right. Salutatorian, Mr. Shazib Hussein. Very good. National School Highlight.
That's why I make him pronounce these things.
National Merit Finalist, International Physics Bowl, USA Biology Olympiad Semi-Finalist, UIL Science State Competitions, Science National Honor Society President, Physics Club, Badminton Club Co-President. He plans to attend UT Austin, majoring in physics. Top scholar athlete, Ms. Erin Jacobs. Number 3 in class ranking, National Honor Society Secretary, Basic Cadet Sponsor for the U.S. Air Force Academy, Richard Green Scholar Finalist. She was the varsity cross-country track and field for 4 years. She served as captain of both teams her senior year, 3,200 meter district champion in 2015 and 2016. And the principal of Martin High School is Ms. Marlene Roddy. Sam Houston High School. Right. Second place is state soccer, am I right? Runner up, great. Valedictorian is Amy Lamb. Academic decathlon, quiz league, cross country, National Honor Society, UIL Science and Social Studies. She plans to attend TCU in the fall, majoring in environmental science. She wants to work on water filtration system to help out the third world country. Salutatorian from Sam Houston is Mr. Tanner Simon. Business Professionals of America, P Club, Earth and Science Club, Youth Leadership of Arlington, Orchestra, and Physics Research at TCU. He plans to attend the University of Pennsylvania, majoring in physics. And he wants to go on to contribute to our understanding of the universe. First, starting with himself. The top scholar athlete is Destiny Dominguez. High school highlight. She graduated in the top 2% of her class with an IB diploma. She is also a member of the National Honor Society. 2017 6A 102-pound UIL state wrestling champion.
Wow.
All-state wrestler. She was also a 6A state wrestling tournament qualifier in 2016. She plans to attend Texas A&M, majoring in kinesiology. She plans to become a physical therapist. And the principal of Sam Houston is none other than Mr. Fernando Benavides, who served in the Marines for 4 years, by the way. Thank you for your service.
Hoorah.
Seguin High School, valedictorian, Devin Dowling. AP Scholar, debate, National Honor Society, swim team, internship at an architectural services firm. She plans to attend Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland, Ohio. Majoring in political science, she hopes to become a representative of Texas someday. And her mother is, I'm sorry, that was a mistake. Sorry, that's the next person. Thank you.
What, the representative wanted to be the representative, the next person?
Next person, no, she is. Salutatorian, Elizabeth Point, and her mother, Thitvo, is here with her. Yes. Elizabeth is a student body president, co-director of the Environmental Club, National Honor Society, Key Club, named Global Youth Service Leader of the Year. She is lettered for varsity volleyball and received $40,000 in academic scholarship. She plans to attend UT Arlington, majoring in microbiology, and then med school at UT Southwestern, studying internal medicine and becoming a family doctor. Top scholar athlete Joseph Squire. Joseph is currently ranked in the top 25% of his class. He will graduate with distinguished graduation plan. He is a member of multiple student organizations, including Key Club, National Art Honor Societies, and National Honor Society. He is a member of the high school track team. He is the 110-meter hurdle district champion and the district MVP high point athlete. He qualified for the area and regional track meets in the 100-meter hurdles, 300-meter hurdles, and in the long jump.
Wow.
In addition, he has qualified for the state in the 110-meter hurdles and signed a scholarship to run track at the University of North Texas. He'll major in biology, and he plans to find his path later in college.
All right.
Like many of us found our paths later in college.
And the principal of Seguin High School is Mr. Sam Nix. Okay, do we have room to invite all the principal and the superintendent to come up?
Sure, come on up.
Come on up, principals.
We're going to get the students. Okay, we're going to get the students first, and then y'all sneak on in. Y'all vertically challenged, get in the front. That would be you. And me, and you. There we go. And certainly the wrestler over here. Y'all scoot on in. Come on in. Well, here we go. Those computer screens in the way. Like Christmas, just keep standing until they quit flashing. She's got to have at least one more. There we go. We got three. All right, y'all come on up. Filter in around. Take at least 2 steps back because there's going to be a wider. No, I'm not saying y'all are good. Let's go down. Yeah.
Turn sideways. Like this. Turn sideways.
There we go. Stand sideways and come in. Oh yeah, parents, come on up. We're gonna.
My friends.
See, they took another step back. 3 more flashes and we'll be ready to go. That one didn't count. Congratulations to all of you on your hard work. You didn't accomplish this without a lot of hard work. Thank you. Congratulations to all of them.
I hope and I expect that all all of you will come back to Tarrant County upon your college graduation. And now I would like to invite Dr. Cavazos to make a few comments, unless you find yourself at a loss of words.
Never, never.
Hardly ever.
Hardly ever.
Commissioner Wynn, members of the court, and Judge, thank you so much for this opportunity to recognize some outstanding students in our school district. These students, as you know, because of their recognition, have worked extremely hard their entire educational career. And we know that public schools serves the vast majority of our students, and these students lead the way. They're the example, they're the model of what public schools do for all of us every single day. So I want to take a moment just to thank them, congratulate them again. Thank you all for your service, and we look forward to a bright future, as you can tell with our students today, and the many thousands of students that will be graduating from our great country in a couple of weeks. So thank you again for the recognition.
Thank you, Doc.
Now, I was fixing to say, I know y'all just were dying to stay, but if you'd like to get up and leave, now would be the time. Commissioner Wynn, would you please move that we receive and file the recognition?
Thank you, Your Honor. I move to receive and file the recognition.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Commissioner Vickers, I believe you have
I have an announcement, if that's okay. And this is 2 weeks from this Friday. We're having our Precinct 3 Summer Fun Party for United Way at our Northeast Courthouse in Hurst on Grapevine Highway. And for those who really have one, we want you to come in your best tropical outfit. This means Hawaii shirts, guys and girls. And because we're going to have a contest, we have a steel drum music for Sounds of the Caribbean, and hamburgers and hot dogs and chips and door prizes and cherry limeades and all kinds of good stuff for a good cause. So that's on the 9th of June on a Friday at 10:30 to 2. Thanks.
All right.
Thank you, Commissioner Vickers. You have before you our consent agenda.
Move for approval of the consent agenda.
Second, considering the items that were to be withdrawn, and I'm sure somebody followed those.
Has records of all that. I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda with the exception of the items noted earlier. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Jay?
Item 1 we'll consider after the closed session, and items 2, 3, and 4, Ms. McMillan will handle.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Good morning.
The first two items I have are in regards to nominations for the Texas Enterprise Project designation. The first item regards to Alcon Research. As you all know, Alcon, located in South Fort Worth, serves as the company's headquarters where research focuses on developing new eye care products to treat diseases and conditions of the eye. Over the next 3 years, Alcon Research plans to invest $153 million to enlarge their production line, replace outdated equipment, improve their manufacturing compliance functionality, and to provide automation upgrades to increase efficiency and their sterilization processes. This investment will renew Alcon's commitment to the retention of its 1,387 existing employees. The county's nomination for an enterprise project will allow Alcon to receive sales and use tax refunds on the state portion of taxes paid for the items they purchase and use at the Fort Worth facilities. And as a qualified enterprise project, Alcon must commit that at least 25% of any new employees be residents of the enterprise zone or be economically disadvantaged. As you may recall, Tarrant County is granted 9 enterprise project designations each biennium. This current biennium will end this August, and we will replenish our 9 designations starting in September. Currently, we have only used 2 of this biennium's designations, and this project would only use a single designation. One of the new requirements under the Texas Enterprise Project is that we must do an interlocal agreement with the city of Fort Worth that gives their approval of the nomination also, and that has been approved by the city of Fort Worth. This enterprise application will be submitted for the June 1st review period, which is the final submittal date for this biennium. Alcon is not requesting any county tax incentives related to this investment. So today we're asking that the commissioners approve the resolution nominating Alcon Research as a Texas Enterprise Project, authorize submittal of the Enterprise Project application, and approval of the interlocal agreement with the city of Fort Worth for the nomination.
Move approval.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Alcon has always been great partners for.
And we do have representatives from Alcon here in the audience, too.
And we appreciate that very much. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
The second item is in regards to a nomination for Higginbotham Insurance Agency. They plan to expand their current headquarters operations located in downtown Fort Worth through the investment of about $6.2 million over the next 5 years. Their current location on West 13th Street is at full capacity, and the company will add space west of downtown on Lake Street to accommodate their strategic growth plan. They currently employ 243 full-time jobs and will expect to add at least 60 new-time jobs with the new facility. Again, as a qualified enterprise project, these new jobs will be residents, must be residents. 25% of these new jobs must be residents of an enterprise zone or be economically disadvantaged. And again, this will only take one of our nominations, so that will only give us 4 nominations that we're using for this biennium. So today we're asking that the commissioners approve the resolution nominating Higginbotham Insurance Agency as a Texas Enterprise Project, authorize submittal of the Enterprise Project application, and approve the interlocal agreement with the city of Fort Worth for the nomination.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Again, so they get the nomination, we're doing it in this biennium. They don't have to extend or come back in the next biennium.
If they get the designation, we do the nomination, the state reviews the application and then grants the designation. And then after that, they have this designation for 5 years.
Okay. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
On the final item.
We also have some Higginbotham people here.
Well, I noticed that Rusty's not here. Rusty Reed is not here, so he's playing hooky is what he's doing. He's out probably out at Colonial watching the rain come down. Tell him I said hello, yes.
On the final item, you may recall on April 18th, commissioners approved a resolution that for the Arlington Higher Education Finance Corporation education revenue bonds for the benefit of Uplift Education in a maximum amount of $110 million. Since that approval, additional locations in Tarrant County at which the bond proceeds may be spent were added. One at Forest Hills Drive and Enon Avenue, another track off I-20 and Campus Drive, and then another track off Chapel Creek Boulevard at West Point Boulevard. A second public hearing was held on April 25th, providing notice of these other 3 locations. So we're simply asking that commissioners approve the resolution that adds these 3 tracks to that bond issuance.
We're adding locations, we're not adding dollars.
Correct.
Yes.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Ms. Tidwell? Whoop.
She's changed.
She has. She's lost a little hair.
It's good to see you too this morning. Morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Greg.
It is requested that you approve release of the depository collateral as shown in your court's communication.
Move for approval.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thanks, Craig. Ms. Glenn?
Move to receive and file the personnel agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for receive and file personnel agenda. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Good morning and thank you.
Good morning, Ms. Glenn.
Appreciate my 20 staffs.
There you go. Vinny, he's far back there. He's going to get a little bit. He's going to get a few more than 20, but not much.
Not much. Morning, Your Honor, and members of the court.
Good morning.
Morning.
Public Health has one item before you for consideration this morning. We're requesting the approval of a contract with the Center for Transforming Lives to provide child care services in a family assistance center to support the medical examiner in the event of a mass disaster.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank
Thanks, Vinnie. Mr. Beecham.
No.
Good morning. We have 6 items for your consideration this morning. Our first item is a bid award recommendation for bid 2017-061. It's a new annual contract for janitorial supplies to be used countywide. Our recommendation be to award on a per enterprise basis, awarding to the primary, secondary, and alternate vendors as shown in your court communique.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
We can go to our item number 2, which is another bid award recommendation for RFP 2017-068. It's an RFP for an enterprise disease surveillance and management system for the Public Health Department. Recommendation be to award to Commonwealth Informatics the amount of $778,100. If the court approves this, we're also seeking contract approval.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yeah,
Please
Jack.
Whoops.
Is this like a 7-year? Looks like it, 6 or 7 years
There are.
that we're tied in.
There's a
here?
1-year and a 1-year renewal for Phase 1, which is the development. Phase 2, implementation, is a year with 3 1-year renewals. So,
We're going to be here a while.
yes, sir.
Okay. And then we have if something doesn't work right, or not happy, or is there an exit strategy, or?
Always.
This is how they just wanted to present it. It will be the typical that we have the first year of development and then 1 year of maintenance. And after that, it's at our option to renew. If we continue the service, then we can continue up to 3 renewals.
Comes through the court?
Yes, sir. It will come back to you every year. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
We can skip to item number 3, which is another bid award recommendation for bid 2017-072. This is a partial award on an annual contract for the purchase of equipment trailers, of which we awarded several last week. We're completing that award recommendation to another primary vendor, RB Everett, basically for trailers that haul our asphalt reclaimers.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
We may now go to item number 5, which is another bid award recommendation for bid 2017-083, it's an annual contract for custom file folders for the district clerk's office. Recommendation be to award on a per enterprise basis, awarding to the primary, secondary, and alternate vendors as shown in your court communique.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
We can skip to item number 7. This is an item in regards to RFQ 2017-103. It's an a request for qualifications for suppliers of our vaccines manufactured by Mersic and Company. We are recommending or seeking permission to conduct negotiations with Dixon Shane, Regimed Medical, and Reliance Wholesale. And that when we have vaccine requirements, we send that quote to them and negotiate for the best price available in the market.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And if now we can skip to our last item, number 8, item in
We're
regards.
skipping. We're just moving on, aren't we?
Yes, sir. Item in regards to bid 2015-103. This is an annual contract for pharmacy services for prescription drug dispensing, again, for the Public Health Department. We're seeking a 45-day contract extension to allow us ample time to put another bid on the street to increase participation.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Brooks.
Yes, sir. I've got an interlocal agreement 8M 1 and 2, 1A and B, with the city of Fort Worth. I move approval.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Commissioner Wynn?
Move for approval of items 8M, 2A, B, C, and D, interlocal agreements with the city of Kennedale and Pantego.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Are there any appointments today? There being none, then you have before you the claims, including the addendum.
Move approval of the claims, including the addendum.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the claims, including the addendum. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Briefing items.
Our first item today regards State Highway 199. Michael Morrison with the North Central Texas Council of Governments will conduct the briefing.
Mr. Morris, you must have been living right because you got here right before the bottom fell out of the clouds this morning.
Yes, sir, that is correct. My suit is still dry.
Just the Lord had to wait at least 15 minutes so that you were only 10 minutes late.
I was actually 30 minutes early today, Judge. By the way, that was a very good presentation that you gave earlier.
Ms. Glenn, he just wishes most of his presentations weren't that easy.
Good morning, Your Honor, members of the court. I'd like to just introduce this topic to give you some background, and then Sandy will walk you through, as our chief engineer, what she's doing on State Highway 199. So if you go back a few years, before we had Chisholm Trail, State Highway 121 was planned for a number of years. North of Interstate 30 was going to snake around and connect to the 121-35 interchange northeast of downtown. So a dozen years or so, Fort Worth asked, for good reason, that northern section, north of 30, be taken off of our transportation plan. And ever since, we obviously got Chisholm Trail to construction, and we're working on all the lane balancing from Chisholm Trail over to 35, and the new interchange to get you up to 121. So the context for State Highway 199 is 199 in our previous plan was a freeway in the northwest corridor. So if you look at a dial at noon, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, all the way around the clock, we would have a freeway facility. But since the Chisholm Trail 121 project was taken off the plan, we couldn't unload a freeway on State Highway 199. There's no way you can bring a freeway down and dump a freeway into the thoroughfare street traffic in the downtown area. So the Regional Transportation Council made State Highway 199 inside the loop a thoroughfare street, and 199, of course, outside the loop remains a freeway facility. So it's a very transitional type project. Very positive in the sense that you're balancing transportation with land use in the interest of the particular community. 4 years go by. About 3 or 4 years ago, Judge Whitley leads you as policy officials to start focusing on the western side of the county. If you looked at the demographics in the 80s and 90s, most of the growth in Tarrant County was east of Interstate 35. The eastern side of the county has matured. Lots of growth is now occurring on the western side. You as policy officials have instructed us, let's get out in front of some of this particular activity so we're not chasing it like we did in the eastern side of the county. So with that, we moved out on major efforts, both on State Highway 199 and on Interstate 30. So there's funding on Interstate 30 to advance improvements as it heads west to Parker County to get out in front, which is a huge growth of your tax base. We had lost 20 years in funding for State Highway 199 north of 820. That is fully funded, so TxDOT has the lead of 199 outside the loop, which is moving ahead in implementation of freeway facilities. And then our office took the lead on State Highway 199 inside the loop. So simply as an introduction to the policy questions for you as elected officials, 1 inch north of 820 The purpose of State Highway 199 is transportation throughput, 100% throughput. Very little access on the freeway. Of course, there's access issues on the frontage roads. But the function or purpose of the road is 100% transportation. As State Highway 199 transitions to downtown Fort Worth, the purpose of the road is changing. It's changing from 90-10, transportation land use just south of 820, to by the time you get to downtown Fort Worth, it's probably 30% transportation, 70% land use, as we integrate this transportation project already in a complicated design with regard to next generation bridge structures with the rerouting of the Trinity River and a modern day roundabout as you approach downtown. So Sandy's challenge is to take the hand of the community from a freeway 1 inch north of 820, where the purpose of the road is changing as you transition all the way to downtown Fort Worth. For us in transportation, it's exciting because we get to use not just the left side of our brain, but the right side of our brain in working with the community and hopefully developing an economic development transportation safety corridor that would represent the growth that's anticipated by you as policy officials and our office in the western part of the county. So we are trying to balance the mobility and land use access. You know, you can't just automatically assume it's all transportation, and you can't assume it's all land use. It's got to meet both of those masters, and lots of organic grassroots bottom-up conversations are occurring, which Sandy will do. As staff, we're suggesting to you that you want to keep State Highway 199 on the state system. You want the 20% match that comes from the state government. This is not, you know, some junior thoroughfare street that you should take off of the system. This is a major state system, needs to stay on the state system. So on the revenue side, it's positive to keep it on the state system. Sandy's work is complicated by having to use state and federal design requirements as she feathers this design of this project towards downtown, still having to meet the state requirements. But as a policy question, we're assuming we're keeping it on the state system. What does that do for us? Well, it obviously maximizes TxDOT's revenue. It doesn't force us to come to you to necessarily get the 20% match or local government. So again, we're feathering transportation, maximizing access to land use, and we're feathering the transportation revenues to build this project. So it's a balancing act. There's lots of conversations that occur with regard to meeting how to fund the project, what's the role of transportation in the access, and what is a exciting new opportunity for Fort Worth and Tarrant County. To make sure you weren't wasting your time, staff went to the Regional Transportation Council, funded the freeway north of 820, and slotted $100 million on State Highway 199 from the loop in 820 to downtown. So we're not just moving our hands to develop a vision, we're moving our hands hopefully quickly to get consensus in order to deliver first generation improvements on State Highway 199 inside the loop. Let me stop there. Ask Sandy Wesch, our chief engineer, to walk you through what is her lead in working with the community on State Highway 199.
Good morning, Sandy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you very much for having us here this morning. I'm excited about this project for a couple of reasons. It's a wonderful corridor. It's in need of rehabilitation, and this is probably the first project in my career that I've actually had money to build a project before we've actually finished the study. So it's kind of exciting. So I want to give you a little bit of an overview of this study. The project starts just south of 820 and goes all the way down to Belknap, about 6 miles. This is not just a traditional study, transportation study. We're looking at economic market analysis, conditions, what can we do to help economic development. Looking at the core, drainage, urban design, multimodal safety. These are all things and aspects that we are addressing in this study. We started this study about 15 months ago in February of 2016 with an 18-month schedule. Basically, the purpose is to look at what is the future design of the roadway and what are the phased improvements. seeing that we've got $100 million, we're not sure that we need to really look at phased improvements. We may be able to do it all at one time, which is really great news. Wanted to look at alternatives to improve traffic flow through the area because a lot of it in the morning and in the afternoon is going from 820 downtown. But in the afternoon or in midday, it's different. It's a community facility, and we need to address that. We want to make sure that we're planning for all modes, not just cars, but every other mode. Improving drainage, another thing. We know up in Sansom Park, there's been times where there's been a couple of feet of water over the roadway when we've had heavy storms. And also economic development opportunities. What can the road do to help improve that? When we started the study, we reached out to the stakeholders, elected officials, and said, so let's talk about what's great about the corridor, what are the opportunities, what are the challenges? One of the great things is that you've got some wonderful vistas in this area, very unique for Tarrant County and actually for the North Texas area. Historic context, great parks, great neighborhoods. I will say one thing about historic context of the corridor. In doing our research, the road was built in the 30s or 40s. I'm going to say that's not necessarily the great part of the historic context of this corridor. The buildings on either side of it, yes. The roadway itself, again, from the 30s and the 40s. And not a lot of changes have happened to that. When we look at what the challenges are, we are going to have going from a rural cross-section where there's ditches, drainage ditches, very poor drainage, as I've already mentioned. We've got topography challenges, especially as we approach downtown Fort Worth. You've got very high bluffs on one side, you roll down into the river on the other side, and you've got this huge difference in elevation from one side of the road to the other side of the road, sometimes as much as 40 feet, which can be a challenge. There's a lot of driveways. There's a lot of large driveways in this particular area. No pedestrian access. One of the things and challenges we do face is that 199 is a very popular corridor. It actually, for the Fort Worth Transportation Authority, I believe it's Route 46, it's their fifth highest ridership. So that's another thing that we need to make sure of because there's no sidewalks along this roadway, but we know we've got a lot of pedestrians who are accessing transit. But we do have some great opportunities. In some parts of this, for the vast majority of it, we have 150 foot of right-of-way. There's a wide right-of-way that TxDOT already owns. Opportunities for mixed use, for redevelopment, for urban design. There's a lot of opportunities in the corridor. So kind of digging down into some of the data. Today, the traffic volumes are anywhere from about 30 to 33,000 vehicles a day. These were accounts we took in last year, April of last year. We're looking out to 2040. Projections are going to be 50 to 55,000 vehicles a day. And that's where Michael was mentioning is it's not necessarily arterial. It's pushing a lot of traffic, and it's going to carry a lot of traffic and continue to do that. Looking at the crash data from 2010 to 2014, there's quite a few accidents, and there have been 9 fatalities in that particular time frame, and that is a lot for a corridor of this size. Just earlier this year, we had a bicycle fatality. I want to say in January and in February, there was a pedestrian fatality at the southern end of this corridor. Both of those happened either early in the morning or late at night, but it is a concern about safety. So what are we proposing? From 820 down to University North Side, we're proposing a 6-lane arterial roadway. You see over there some concepts of what the road particularly could look like. We also want to have a multimodal corridor. We want to have sidewalks or a wide side path along one side of the roadway, but sidewalks on both sides. And we want to have the sidewalks offset from the roadway, from the back of curbs, so we have room to put a transit stop or a transit shelter, if necessary, with the Fort Worth Transportation Authority. South of University and Northside Drive down to downtown, we are suggesting dropping it we are recommending to 4 lanes. And the reason why is we're transitioning from that area down to the TRV bridges, which is 4 lanes, the roundabout, and then just south of the roundabout is the Henderson Street Bridge, which is on the National Register of Historic Places. It is only 4 lanes as well, and then you feed into downtown and it's 4 lanes. In this particular section from University to the south, there's not a lot of driveways, there's not as much development along there, so we feel that 4 lanes is going to be adequate to handle the flow of traffic, again, because we don't have as many driveways. The other
So
thing...
you'll take it to 4 lanes after North University?
Yes, sir. That's what we're proposing and recommending. And part of that is because of the right-of-way. If I can go back a slide.
We're already, JD and I are already going to have popcorns and hot dogs available at the roundabout to watch the circus.
Well, one of the things I failed to point out on this previous slide is if you noticed up in the yellow area, we have 150 foot of right-of-way TxDOT owns. Then it goes down to 120 feet, and then right at the West Fork, dropping into downtown, it goes to 100 foot of right-of-way. And there's buildings on either side of it. And it gets very tight in that particular area. We are proposing that the rural cross section that is out there is converted to a curb and gutter and drainage put in to help with the flooding issue and cross drainage. Again, some of the culverts out there we know are from the 1930s and they need to be replaced, especially because it was designed for a time when there was not as much development around there. You now have so much more development. You have water getting to it faster, so we need to get that water across the roadway, or actually I'd say under the roadway. The good news about the amount of right-of-way that TxDOT already owns is we feel that this project can be done within the existing right-of-way without a lot of purchase of right-of-way. In fact, we know in the 150 area where it's 150 feet, we may not need to purchase any right-of-way. Which is something phenomenal on a project like that to be able to have this opportunity to do that. So again, maybe corner clips might be needed here and there, but right now we're not thinking significant purchases of land are going to be required to build this project, which will help get it to construction faster. We've also looked at urban design concepts. Some of the typical sections I showed you earlier were just kind of a base concept, but we're looking at what could be done to enhance the urban design elements along the corridor and actually maybe change and transition the corridor as you go through it. The one I'm showing here is what's called the Parkway Concept, where you have a little bit narrower median and more of the amenities and urban design features are on the outside. But we have another situation where we have maybe you have a wider median and you have less amenities and pertinences on the outside because maybe when you're near Rockwood Golf Course, it's a beautiful vista. We don't really need to worry about that because it's already very nice looking. Let's focus amenities and urban design features in other areas, say maybe where we're having economic development and tying those in with economic development opportunities to enhance those particular areas. So we've come up with an urban design plan as well as part of this project. Throughout the project, we've engaged the stakeholders in the community. We've had 6 stakeholder meetings to date. We've met with the 4 cities. There's the 4 cities that are involved, the county, the Fort Worth Transportation Authority, TxDOT, engaging them on what their concerns and what they'd like to see in the corridor. We had a community meeting last October, very well attended, over 100 people there, got some wonderful input. And then as requested, we've been going out and make presentations to the community. And I have to say is the feedback has been really nice, wonderful. They've got questions, they've got some concerns, but I think the community is very excited about the project. Our next steps, we are holding another community meeting next Wednesday at 6 o'clock in River Oaks. Be happy to see you all there. Finally, when we get the comments from the public, we'll be finalizing our recommendations and the cost estimates for the project, preparing the final report. We hope to have this wrapped up by July of this year, which is going to be on time and on budget. And then following that, I'll be working with TxDOT to initiate the preliminary engineering and environmental documentation so we could move this project towards construction. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I guess the one question that I have, I mean, I can picture driving down that area. The trees and all the shrubs that you're showing between the road and the businesses, I'm kind of remembering that the businesses seem to be a little bit closer to the road, and by the time you do all of that, I know in one of your things you showed that the parking would be toward the road. what kind of feedback have you gotten from the businesses as you're going north, I guess would be the east side of 190?
On the east side of 190. We have had some concern with property owners. They do know that some of them are using the state right-of-way for parking.
Okay.
And they are aware of that. And they realize that they're going to lose that parking.
So is the plan to reduce significantly? Because, I mean, most of those folks, there's not curbs, and so they just enter the roadway wherever they want to enter the roadway.
Yes, sir. That is going to be one of the things that's been one of our challenges. And we've looked at it and we've identified it as an issue, but TxDOT's really, and we've talked to TxDOT about it, they're going to have to get ahead of that, the access management. You're right. There's been some property owners that they basically paved the ditch.
Yeah.
And they have a 300-foot driveway.
Which explains why you have water of 2 feet over them. So I'm also
Yes.
assuming then that you could have your little, trees and bushes and all that kind of stuff and sidewalks. And then you've got another road that would actually maybe serve several businesses with one opening going into is that anticipated, or
No,
do you
sir.
have that much right away?
We don't have that much right-of-way. The other thing is that under our property rights access, all property owners must maintain access to the state roadway unless the state has purchased that. Basically, right of access is a property right. TxDOT does not own that property right. So they're going to have to provide a driveway to each one of the properties.
Along
Yes.
the way.
And they cannot make them consolidate.
Could they request and potentially pay them to consolidate?
Yes.
Okay.
They can. That would be a property right. It is a little bit more difficult if we're not needing to purchase right-of-way to build the roadway. It becomes a little bit more difficult to do that. But the property owners, we have talked to them about that. They have expressed it as a concern, but they do understand that the road is going to be greatly improved.
Okay. So when do you anticipate that you will have had all those discussions and have us 100% happy business owners along 199?
I won't guarantee 100% happy business owners, but I think that it's going to be a couple of years because TxDOT's going to have to get into the detailed design and the schematic, and then at that time they're going to be starting to look at driveways.
Okay.
2 years. So what's the timetable of the project? Just vaguely?
Vaguely. It's going to take a couple of years to do the environmental and schematic, and then usually a couple of years. I think it would be ready to go to construction in 4 to 5 years. Now, I'm not sure when the money is going to be available because, again, as Michael mentioned, it's in the 10-year Unified Transportation Plan, but the year for which it's been slotted has not been determined yet. But my goal is to work with TxDOT to get it ready as fast as possible so that we can have access to the money as soon as possible.
If I could just add, supporting Sandy's point, the reason we jump-started this consensus building is to get a consensus at 100,000 feet and immediately get into the environmental process. So to answer all the driveways, that's in the design process. I'm eager to get this study completed this summer so we can move on to advance consensus building to allocate the $100 million at the appropriate time. Right now, it'll sit and it'll move, just like other projects in Tarrant County are advancing. We have the Y connection in the southeastern part of the county, so the RTC will continue to monitor these projects, but as soon as this project can go to construction, it's going to go to construction. So it's important for us to be here today so you can see, A, the process, and B, the consensus that's been built to date, so we can advance, hopefully by TxDOT, if not by TxDOT, maybe by our office, to get the environmental expedited as quickly as possible so this can get slotted. You don't need business owners sitting there for years not knowing exactly what's happening to them.
Yes. Michael,
which is why we designed the process we did.
When is the freeway on the north supposed to hit 820?
That's fully funded under TxDOT's responsibility. Lots of environmental clearances have occurred. It's fast. There's sections north of 820 that are already under construction.
Right.
So it is being staged. Lots of that land use out there is sitting on leased property by TxDOT. So TxDOT's going to, have to work with properties that are literally restaurants on what is the future median of that freeway, and work on how that's all going to be moved as it moves forward. So Lowell is on that particular project. His office is taking the lead in staging those improvements and letting the RTC know when to get it funded. But as you know, we pre-funded and pre-constructed portions of 199 north of 820.
One thing I would hope that we would do continuously and are as periodic as we need to is synchronize the lights. I became a huge proponent of synchronized lights as we were doing the 183 North Tarrant Express. Highway 10, and oh, by the way, somebody can tell the state they need to resynchronize again. But that helped tremendously, and I think can be a big factor. The other thing that I don't know that there's anything we can do when we come 1 inch south, when all those cars pour off of the freeway at 199, if there's any way we could get the access roads could be after or the pour over, or could be on the other side of those access roads, so we didn't have to stop traffic on the access roads and back the traffic coming off the freeway.
The transition that exists there today is unbelievable. I encourage people to go up there if you've never had an e-ticket ride at an amusement park. It is something to see.
Those are people who used to know Disneyland when they had ABC,
as the commissioner knows.
tickets.
But back to the feathering of this road, we understand we have to transition these ramp connections into this thoroughfare street very quickly. Now, as an engineer and a staff person, I can't do the next statement, but you want to advance traffic signals and other things in your county? We worked on a piece of legislation. We're down to the last week of legislation. 50% of the LIRAP money we said should be able to be flexed, so you as a commissioner's court can decide how much vehicle repair and replacement you want from the $6 fee, and how much do you want to stretch that into things like traffic signals and things. The Regional Transportation Council, as you know, sent a letter down last week to the Senate. Why aren't you giving local elected officials the flexibility to drive the air quality agenda in their counties? And we're down to now 4 more days. So if this commissioner's court could help the RTC in creating the revenues to drive better choices for you as elected officials, we have 3 to 4 days left.
You might tell us what Senate bill that is, because we can't do anything today since we're not agendized to do that, but we could individually potentially call. So that might be helpful. That same Senate is also holding up and not even willing to hear our unfunded mandate bill, which they all talk about so much supporting until it comes to an opportunity to support it.
So it passed in the House. It's in the Senate. I don't have the number in front of me. It's Senator Watson's bill. The companion was drafted by a representative from Tarrant County. And if you say Senator Watson's bill, we're down to 3 days to give you as elected officials the flexibility to help us drive these operations.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other, JD, I know 199 is something that you've been a little bit interested in.
Yeah, I just hope we can get through the roundabout. That's going to be very interesting.
We've got our place. We're going to have lawn chairs, popcorn, hot dog sales. We figure we can have a major United Way fundraiser right there on the spot.
Let the record show I made no comment after you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I noticed we have Bill Jones from Azle. Do y'all have, I also see Tom over, any comments that y'all would like to make regarding this issue? Come on forward.
In 199, I thought we were also looking at taking 199, not just at the inner loop, is to take it a little further and make the whole boulevard concept all the way through. So that transition is a little bit north of Lake Worth instead of just right at Lake Worth. And what Brian and them have demonstrated within the flow is off to the west just a little bit. So the interaction and the exchange is not right there at the boulevard. with the concepts that they've been working on. So it should flow a lot easier and the boulevard should work a lot better.
You might talk with them and make sure we're on this, that, I hear what you're saying. You're saying make the off-ramp a little bit north of 820 versus a little bit south of 820.
Yeah, and the concepts that Brian's already done, that he's
Okay.
already shown many of us, that's kind of the way that it
Is that
has
your
been.
understanding? Come on forward.
Sorry, I'm trying to make.
No worries. Yes, sir. Actually, as part of the UTP, there's $200 million to address 199 just north of 820 and south of 820, basically at the interchange. And TxDOT kicked off the study about a month ago and called all of us there who've been working on all the sections of 199 to say, what do we need to do at the interchange and how do we need to transition the freeway there to the boulevard and to 820. So that is actively being worked on. I'd say they're about 6 months ahead of us to the south.
Okay. Bill, since you did make some comments, would you kind of touch base with them and let them know your name and address? This was an agendized item, so that's why we've been able to.
I'm Bill Jones, Mayor Pro Tem of Baker.
Thank you very much.
Our next item is a presentation concerning the City of Azle and the tax increment finance zone number 1. Ms. McMillan will present that.
We're going to stay on 199 and head north, 820 to Azle on this presentation. The City of Azle has established a 1,040-acre tax increment reinvestment zone in the area along Highway 199 and the FM 730 corridors in both Parker and Tarrant counties. As proposed, funding through the TERS will pay for approximately $69.3 million in project costs, including street and intersection improvements, water, sewer, drainage, infrastructure, open space and park improvements, and funding for economic development grants. These improvements are expected to facilitate the development and redevelopment of the area and encourage private development of residential, multifamily, retail, and commercial valued at approximately $155 million. Tom Muir, the city manager of Azle, is here to give a presentation, an overview of the TER zone and the requested participation from the Tarrant County and Tarrant County Hospital District.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you, Judge, Commissioners. Thank you for allowing us to be here. Just on the previous topic, the only comment I've got on that is the contractor they've got working out there is really doing a good job, but they're getting after it. So they need to
They
get more
fixed the
jobs.
fallen wall, didn't they?
Oh, yeah. It's I'm impressed with them. But anyway, again, thank you for allowing us to come and brief you all on our TERS. We're a bit optimistic. TERS number 1. I'm not sure it could be a TERS number 2, but they need to give it a number, so they called it number 1. But anyway, as Lisa had already pointed out, the TERS was actually created in late 15 by the city council, and the TIF board met in 16 rather, and approved the project and public financing plan, which I believe is in your packet as well. As you can see, the city limits are there in the black. The red is the TERS. The TERS takes up a good 25%, we guess, of the acreage of Azle. And these are some of the projects that we have the joy of being mostly in Tarrant County, but part of us is in Parker County. And so you see some things.
Are you asking for more money from them than you're asking from us?
No, sir. Absolutely
Too bad.
not.
Riley's got a fatter checkbook over there.
But these are some of the possible developments that we've got tracking within the two counties, but obviously for Tarrant counties, that's all they all are concerned with. From a financial standpoint, we're asking for 50% participation from the county and the hospital district. As you can see in the slide, the city is putting up 90% of the increment from the city coffers. And we're also going to be talking to the college district as well. And we will be approaching Parker County. We've had briefings with all these folks
before, but we have not taken any action. We're hoping to get action from y'all first and then proceed to those other entities. We got about 1.4 million square feet of development. The important thing with this slide is that we are proposing a 30-year TIF expiring in 2045. I think Lisa had already pointed out some of the financial costs of this. We're looking at $69 million in proposed project costs for this, and these are some of the projects that are specifically Tarrant County oriented. I'm not going to address all of them. I'll address a couple of them. The first one, the 4.1 million up around 730 in Sandy Beach, that would provide a sewer line up from the high school going up north to Sandy Beach, and then a water line.
Tom, I want to stop just a
Sure.
second. And on Farm to Market 730, there has been at least some very, very preliminary discussion with Wise County about the possibility of making that a major thoroughfare or possibly freeway from Decatur down to connect into 199.
Yes.
So is that something that y'all have discussed at all or might anticipate?
We have discussed it and we are anticipating it. None of these projects will have a negative impact on that at all. Most of these projects are water sewer related. The ones that are street related are off that. They're more to the feeder streets or the thoroughfares that are off.
Well, as stuff comes in there, I mean, I would suspect that next month or in the next couple of months, the RTC will add that to the 2045 plan. That's something we plan to open back up, and that is something that has at least been mentioned. The primary reason is to give some relief off of 287 and some relief off of 35, especially for that traffic that might be wishing to go around Fort Worth instead of through Fort Worth.
Sure. And as 730 comes into Hazel, it gets a little tight in there. I'm not sure I see the vision that they've got, but they're engineers and they're much smarter at it than I am. But we're happy to work with them in whatever way we can to make that vision a reality.
Thank you.
That was project one I was talking about with Sandy Beach and 730. Jumping down to Main Street. Main Street is project 3. Main Street is partially it splits between the two counties. We've got a long list of things that we're wanting to do there, but the city has recently made an application with the Water Development Board to try to replace a water line there that we've got referenced, that we included in with the TIF, but the city will take care of that on its own without the TIF money. But if we're successful with that and we replace that water line, then we'll be looking to take Main Street off of TxDOT's hands and then start trying to redevelop that as with some sidewalks and some walkability features to the street, but without TxDOT's help per se. Going down to project 6, the Park Street, Stewart Street, and 199. Is just one jacked up intersection there at that bridge, and it just needs a lot of help. And the final one is Dunaway. Dunaway is a thoroughfare that comes off of. It feeds into 199, but it's mainly a thoroughfare that goes into our neighborhoods. We're looking at possibly making that a 4-lane road, but most of these things, as I pointed out, are either drainage or water and sewer related to that. From a revenue standpoint, $228 million is anticipated to be generated. The net benefit, at least from the county, we've got the two counties combined there are $12 million, but the net benefit to Tarrant County specifically is about $7.7 million beyond their participation of the 11 that's referenced there. And as you pointed out, I've got Mayor Pro Tem. Sorry, I got one more slide here.
the next steps, most of these things have already been completed. Our next steps are really trying to get the participation agreements from the other entities, as I already alluded to. And Mayor Pro Tem Bill Jones is here as well. I've got a couple of staffers here, Lawrence Bryant and Karen Dixon, the Assistant City Manager and the Economic Development Director are here as well. So we'll stand ready to answer any questions that you guys may have.
What's the length, mileage of this project?
From
bottom to north, from the south to the north?
I don't know, 7, 8 miles maybe.
Okay.
It's largely along 730 and 199. Largely is that most of the Tarrant County portion is infill. Most of that's developed. The Parker County stuff is largely undeveloped areas, and we've got a lot of people moving to Azle, more people than what we thought. And what I thought when I came here a year ago, there's a lot more people coming than what we anticipated.
More to come.
More to come. Yes, sir.
Right here? No, it's right here. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
All right.
So, as Tom said, to wrap up, the city is proposing to contribute 90%, and as you saw on the slide, that's approximately $47.5 million of the revenue to the zone. But as you might have noticed, I wanted to make sure that you realize that 31 million of that will go to economic development grants as it's set up now, because only the city's portion can fund those 380 economic development grants. So at the county's 50% participation, we're looking at approximately 7.2 million to the TERS. Hospital district at 50% would be about 6.2 million. And then Tarrant County College District and Parker County are also anticipated at 50%, and that would be about 4.1 million from the College District and 4 million from Parker County. But as you can tell also by that slide that showed where the development is going to happen, approximately 2/3 of the added value from the zone will come from Tarrant County. We have met, Steve, Commissioner Johnson's staff, we've met with Azle representatives a couple of times now, and so I think if the court is okay with this, we'll move forward with working on the participation agreements and bring it back at the 50% participation.
You know, I guess the one question, and it goes back to the 730 again, it doesn't look as though your zone anticipates any development to the west of 730. Is that down in an area that, I mean, was there a particular reason why that would be excluded?
No specific reason, just everything west of 730 is in Parker County. But
not according to this, not according to your slide.
Well,
maybe the road would shift over to that, but it looks like 730 is coming down. It looks like that the 730 is the boundary of your zone.
Yeah.
Jim, can we get the presentation again?
Northern portion of it.
There you go. Okay, right.
That portion is the Tarrant County.
Go back a little bit more. Go back one more. Okay, right there. That red line, if you blow it up, it looks like that the county line is about, well, here it's about 1/3 of an inch, but I'm assuming 1/3 of an inch is a lot of land.
It's
You're
a few hundred,
thinking
it's a few hundred feet. There's
a
not a whole lot of distance that's in the county west of there. It's a couple hundred feet at best.
Okay.
Most of that is it's stuff that's either able to be developed, or if it's not, then it's the topo is prohibitive.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Lisa, I have a question. You know, we had talked in the past about the hospital district's involvement, and have they been taught, and I know we're making those decisions.
The hospital district was requested because, like a lot of the redevelopment TIFs, this is running, there's not a lot of room in here to help fund.
Okay.
And because they were only asking participation at 50% from us and 50% for the hospital district. To really make this work, that's what it was needed. Again, it's, we're not funding a lot, $69 million worth of projects over the 30 years. It's going to take that to make this work.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you.
Our last item has to do with the legislative issues. In your red folder, you'll see an additional memo from Mr. Mendez. If you have any questions, I'll attempt to answer.
Again, we have our unfunded mandate bill. House Joint Resolution 73 is stuck in Business and Commerce Committee, which is chaired by Senator Hancock. We have the discussion that Michael mentioned this morning about the transportation. The LIRAP part of that deal, that's, I believe, in the Senate also waiting for hearings. So, is that right, Russell?
Yes.
2321. What committee is that in? Transportation.
It is not has not been posted on the calendar yet.
So what you're saying is it hadn't been referred by the Lieutenant Governor to any committee.
Well, to the on the calendar with the vote on the floor.
Okay. So a couple of days left. We're in pretty good shape on our SP2. It looks like that is not moving anywhere. So with that, I will not recess. We have a public audience participation form from Anthony Abbs. Mr. Abbs, would you please come forward? I need you to go ahead and state your name, your address, and again, your item that you're wishing to talk about is not on the agenda, so we cannot respond.
Yes, sir. My name is Anthony Wayne Abbs. I live at 5500 Windward Street in Fort Worth, Texas. And I would like to thank y'all for the opportunity to be able to stay up here to talk to you still this morning. That's the reason why I want to talk to you, because I have a situation with the Tarrant County DA office and the North Richmond Police Department that I wish to try to get this on the agenda so we can sit down and talk about this, so we can discuss this, so we can find a solution to this. I've been dealing with this about a year now, and I've been talking to people, and I still haven't got a solution to my problem yet. I'd just like to, if you will, be patient with me. I got 5 questions to ask.
Well, you know that we can't answer any questions.
I know, but I just want you to think about them. I just want you to think about these questions, okay? There's 5 questions I want you to think about. The first question is, why was I arrested at Commissioner Brooks' office on a warrant that wasn't a good warrant? And that's because of North Richmond Hills sent my picture over there to have me arrested. If it was such a big deal for me being arrested, and I was at their office, why did they didn't arrest me there? Second question, why when North Richmond Hills told me that they sent my case to the DA office, and that day I went to the DA office, and my case was never there. I went to I guess you call it the intake down in the basement, and I talked to a guy, and I think he said something about a sure number, something like that, that my case never got there. And then when they called North Richmond Hills, and I guess, I don't know what happened, 2 days later, all of a sudden it showed up. I don't understand that. And then when I did talk to somebody in there, and I'm not sure his name, I had it written down, couldn't find it, but I think his name was Greg. I think he said he was the second to Cheryl Wilson. And I think he had a medical problem. He had to get out. He had to get away for a while. I think he had surgery, something like that. He told me on the phone, and the exact words was that I believe North Richland Hills, I believe the hospital, but I don't believe you. And I just took that as and I'm supposed to be the victim, and not supposed to get help. And I just took that. I just didn't understand why would he say that. The fourth question is the video, and I talked to Dr. Brooks about the video. The video will show that what I'm saying is true, but by the time that the DA sent the investigator over there to the hospital to acquire about the video, to get the video, it's been over 30 days, and the video has expired. There's no longer a video now. Why did North Richland Hills didn't get that video that next day? Because if I would have hit a nurse, or I would have been in the wrong, they would have had that video right then. Okay. In my fifth question, why are off duty, but he's in his uniform, but he's off duty in Fort Worth, Texas, or North Richland Hill police chasing me down with a flashlight like I'm some kind of animal? I don't understand that. That's like I said the last time I was here. I'm afraid to go to North Richland Hills. Every time I wind up on that side, I always go all the way around it because I just feel like they got my pictures around and they looking for me. Okay? Now, let me say this. I had a great-great-grandfather lived about 100 years ago. His name was Leon Abbs. And we from out of Marshall, Texas. And he came to Marshall, Texas, bought 32 acres of land, built his house there. And in Marshall, Texas, it get pretty hot in Marshall, Texas. I don't know if you ever been there. It get hot. But one thing my great-great-grandfather didn't have was shade trees. So he planted shade trees. He planted a shade tree. And this was, over 100 years ago. And to this day, we have our family reunion on that same farm there every year. And we sit up under that shade tree. And let me tell you something. My grandfather planted that shade tree, but he never had the opportunity to sit up under that shade tree. But we did. We had the opportunity to benefit for what he did 100 years ago, to sit up under that shade tree. And my grandfather, he wasn't an education man. He didn't go to big colleges or have big degrees, anything like that. But he was a man that said, what can I do to help? And he just did it. That's what my grandfather's known about in Marshall. At this day, they still talk about Leon Abbs. Now, I'm going to tell you that during our family reunion, I got several family that did accomplish big things and sit up on that shade tree. I got a cousin that became the head coach of a state, first black head coach at Harvard. I got a cousin that sit up under that shade tree that opened up a chain of William Chickens. I got a cousin that sit up on that shade tree was the heavyweight champion of the world. I got cousins that sit up on that shade tree that are doctors. And I got cousins that sit up on that shade tree are principals. That what I'm trying to say is that my grandfather saw the problem. He saw a problem, and he went out there and he planted a shade tree. And because of that shade tree, we all come together one year up under that shade tree. I'm asking y'all today, would you please plant a shade tree with me? would you please put this on the agenda and let's talk about this? You see, now I'm a grandfather now. I got a grandson. He's 2 years old. And I want to plant shade tree for him. I want to make sure that he have the opportunity to be able to walk down the street will not be harassed. I want to make sure that he have the opportunity to stand up for his rights and to know who he are. And I'm just begging you today and asking you, would you please put this on the agenda and let's talk about this and let's plant this shade tree. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. With that, we will recess our open meeting and proceed to close to discuss items exempted under section 551.071, 072, 074, 070. I just delivered it to you.
All right. I sent you a message 30, 40 minutes ago.
Bang.
Having returned from our closed session, we'll now address the following matter. I'm looking, do we have a motion to concur with the...
This is under item 1, under the administrator section. It's listed on your open session.
And I'm looking for a motion to concur with the election commission in the hiring of Stephen Vickers as election administrator.
So move.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. There being no further business to conduct at this time, we are adjourned.
We're back in business.
We're back in
Election
business.
department.